everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shawna Patterson and today I have another interior design video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about the process of design that is used in interior design school when doing studio projects. This will give you a little bit of an inside look on perhaps if you're curious on what actually goes into interior design school and what goes on when you're there, and just an overview of the process of how studio projects are usually carried out using my program as an example. Now I know that every school is going to have a different method of teaching, but I know that broadly this is sort of how things are carried out when doing studio projects. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Professors are going to have a little bit different of an approach to all the projects. This video is actually a viewer's request and I feel like it would help a broad amount of people, so I thought I would do it for you guys. Also, if you're new to my channel, I do work as a junior account manager / interior designer at an interior design firm, and I graduated from a Bachelor of Interior Design program at Humber College in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So as an example, I'm going to be using a project that I did in my first semester of third year of my Bachelor of Interior Design degree. So I'm just going to use that as a basis of the outline of the steps that I'm going to be sharing with you guys to kind of go through the process of work that I had to do for that project in my studio classes. Also keep in mind that I'm pretty sure this was the first time in this semester that I had used digital modeling and digital rendering for my projects. So I think the renderings turned out pretty well for it being my first time using digital modeling in my projects. So the project for this semester was to design a restaurant, so a hospitality project in a specific geographical location that was assigned to me. For this project, I was assigned Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. The first portion of your project is going to be developing your concept and your schematic design, which involves essentially creating mood boards of your design intent. So as an example, for this project, I was really into the trendy terrariums at the time, and you know how they're built all in different layers, and I kind of wanted to use that as my concept starting point and kind of take it from there to develop my restaurant. So when I was designing the concept for my restaurant, I had to keep in mind the location of my restaurant, the demographic, who I was catering to, and have that help evolve the concept as well. And so my concept was basically a bright, open, airy cafe that serves salads and smoothie bowls and the like, essentially somewhere that you'd have a base, be picking all your individual ingredients, building your own, and creating a layered food product. So after determining the menu, it helped me to further enhance my layered concept. Next, you'll have to do program planning, which essentially means creating block diagrams, partie diagrams, basically trying to translate your concept into a layout and how those two correlate. So this would be the time where I would determine where the kitchen, washrooms, main dining room, patio, mezzanine, front desk, front entrance, pickup delivery areas, if your restaurant so choose to have those things. So I'd have to sketch all my ideas out using trade paper so you could layer different plans over top of one another, block diagrams over top of your main base building, and then you'd also have to get inspirational images to try and help convey your ideas to the professors who you would then have to get critiques from. Then on a weekly basis, you'd have critiques from your professors where you'd continuously bring them in more of your ideas and you'd further develop your plans. They'd tell you sort of what works, what doesn't. It would just kind of go in like a back and forth discussion like that. Sometimes the critique process is intimidating, or it can kind of get a little bit nerve-wracking when you have so many people's ideas coming at you. I've had professors tell me like my initial ideas suck, and you kind of just have to develop like a tough skin and kind of take their advisory as criticism or turn it into another idea. But ultimately it is your project and you have to go in knowing what you want, and if you do want something, like, you have to back it up, give your reasoning as to why you chose to put it there, because they are willing to listen to you and help you further develop that idea. But I know it can be a little bit disheartening to do critiques all the time. Next, you'll go into developing your concept and translating that into actual floor plans. You'll have to do a bunch of different floor plans and then bring them back into your studio class where your professors will re-critique you again, and you'll have to continuously draw new floor plans and new building elevations and all that good stuff. And then after a bunch of different critique sessions in your studio classes, you'll finally land on a finalized plan. So now that your project's layout is finalized, you'll now have to go into developing your AutoCAD drawings. Some people use Revit for this process, but I use AutoCAD. You'll need to create a design dossier, which is essentially a book showing your design process and the whole project all together in one little package, and we usually printed these on 11x17 and had them bound. So your professor, obviously, when they're giving out the project, they'll give you a project outline and things that they're grading you on, so you'll see what things are required. Typically that would include floor plans, reflected ceiling plans, elevations, sections, furniture plans, and furniture and finishes specs if you had those as well. And because this was a design dossier, you'd often have to render these floor plans or elevations in Photoshop as well. This project also asked for a 3D model, so I decided to not do a hand-built model and actually do it on the computer. I used SketchUp, and the rendering plugin that I used was Shaderlight. And these models take forever to do, and the renderings could actually take 10 hours to do, like just for it to render alone, like you're not doing anything on the computer, depending on how high quality your image settings were and how fast your computer worked. For multiple projects, I would literally have to stay up like all night or set my alarm in like 3-hour or 4-hour intervals to check on my rendering, make sure it was still going properly, and making sure it was getting the view that I wanted to get. Because for this project in particular, I had to do probably about 5 to 6 different renderings, so just do the math on that so you can see how many hours it really takes to develop these projects. Now you'll need to essentially become a graphic designer and design your dossier and put all your project's information into one 11x17 formatted book. I would use things such as Adobe InDesign to lay out my project. I also believe that Apple Pages, I believe it's called, it was also really helpful for me, and I found that it was a lot more user-friendly than InDesign. I would often create elements in Photoshop or Illustrator and just bring them into Apple Pages because it's more helpful in the formatting of everything. You can just drag and drop things super easily. So then you'll need to print your 11x17 book. These books could be like 15 or 20 or more pages, and then you'd have to go to a print shop, get that printed, and then get it bound. For my program, I also had to submit a digital copy, so usually they'd ask for a CD with all your project information on it, or you could give them a USB key because who really uses CDs anymore? For this restaurant project in particular, and for a lot of my studio projects, I was also asked to create a giant poster. It was 24 by 36 inches, showcasing the highlights of my design elements for the project. So I'd usually showcase 3 of my favorite renders, big floor plan, a mezzanine plan, a couple of the rendered sections, and you'd have to format that again and make it all look nice, and I'd usually do that in Illustrator or Apple Pages or Adobe InDesign. And we would hang these posters up around the class on submission day so all your other classmates could take a look at everyone's projects, and the professors would walk around and look at everyone's submissions as well. So on top of creating your book for every project, you also had to create a massive poster as well to go along with it. Sometimes studio projects would end right here and you wouldn't need to do anything further, but a lot of the times they also required working drawings as well. So you'd need to create a set of architectural working drawings that were usually printed on 24 by 36 inch sheets of paper, and those would feature your floor plans, your reflected ceiling plans, your elevations, your sections, your details, your finishes plans, your furniture plans, and all your schedules to go along with that, and all your specifications as well. So you're essentially taking all the design drawings that you did in your design dossier and you're making drawings to show how it would actually be built. And lastly is sleep. After all this long process, us interior design students were exhausted, and a lot of us would just go home and sleep for 20 hours straight after submission days. So that is basically the process that we used for a lot of our studio projects in interior design school. I hope it was a little bit helpful for you guys to kind of get a better understanding into what happens for interior designers in school, and give you guys a little bit of an insight on what to expect if you're planning on taking this route in school as well. And if you guys have any other requests for interior design videos, I currently have a few ideas in the works right now, so I'll definitely be putting out more videos like this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!